I have the pleasure of introducing our first keynote. We've got fireside check, keynote check. We'll get a panel next. First keynote, we've got our California's top technology leader who guides the policy and strategic direction for all of the state's technology initiatives, from project oversight to spearheading the governor's forward-thinking agenda on generative artificial intelligence. She is at the forefront of innovation and governance. It's an honor for me to be able to partner with her on efforts that chart bold paths for the government, IT, and data community to use technology strategically to drive equity and deliver critical services to all Californians. Please join me in welcoming California's Chief Information Officer and Director of the California Department of Technology, Liana Bailey-Crimmins.
Good morning. It's so wonderful to see so many friendly faces and familiar faces out in the audience. I want to begin with a simple question. A question that many of the leaders in this room ask themselves, and a question that I ask myself when I'm making difficult decisions. What if government technology moved at the speed of trust? Not at the speed of bureaucracy, as we were just hearing from Secretary Maduro's, not at the speed of a procurement, not at the speed of a crisis, and not at the speed of a news feed. What if California government technology moved at the speed of trust and built it in at the beginning? When we use government technology to not only modernize processes, but build opportunities. Opportunities for people that are low income, that need equity in regards to race, equity including where their zip code is, just if they happen to be rural or urban. Californians deserve services in their language, on their devices. They shouldn't need to navigate 50 forms or try to contact 5 different agencies to get a service done. When we work at the speed of trust, it means that we're reducing concerns, red tape, and we're doing that by building trust. We need to anticipate the needs before we're asked. We need to build systems that are worthy of the people that we serve. And this is a California envisioned by Governor Gavin Newsom's executive orders on generative AI and efficient and effective government. It is a directive to not just technology, but all of us, to look for opportunities to be more efficient before there is inequality. This is also at the core of Envision 2026, the statewide technology plan. And it operationalizes and is forward thinking to look at how we establish a digital government that we can all be proud of. But we do this in partnership. This isn't CDT. This isn't just government. This is the partnership, the public-private partnerships that we all need to make this work. That means that we're working with industry, we're working with academia, local leaders, tribal leaders, community-based organizations. Because together we can build that kind of digital infrastructure, identity systems, AI-enabled solutions that can predict what is needed before someone asks. So today, through all of the keynotes and panels, you're going to have 3 takeaways. One, you're going to learn how we are developing an accessible California, not just digital services. You're going to have insight on how California is raising all boats, regardless of zip code. And you are also going to hear how we are building a future-ready ecosystem that rises above the headlines. We often talk about human-centered design, and you'll probably hear that today. And we talk about it as a framework or methodology. But for me, it's not theoretical. It's personal. So I'm going to share a personal story with you that may be triggering for some. I think most of you know that after decades of being in technology, IT, I was appointed the Chief Health Director at the California Public Employees Retirement System. I was at the height of my career, 3.5 years into this new role, and like most things without warning, I became a recipient of the health benefits that my team and I had designed, negotiated, and implemented on behalf of public servants. I was 48 years old, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer. That basically meant that colon cancer was not just in my colon, it was in my liver, and it was in my left and my right lung. Oncologist gave me a 7% chance to be alive 5 years after diagnosis. So if you're doing the math, that's 93% chance of not being here. So I stand here 7 years post that diagnosis. Thank you. But it means I do not take public service for granted. Many of you may be dealing with cancer yourselves or for loved ones, and what I can say is keep up the good fight and continue to remain positive. Because when your life depends on the benefits that you have designed and implemented, you look at efficiencies in government technology in a whole different lens. You realize every portal, every form, every verification system affects someone when it matters. Technology is not just code and infrastructure, even though when you cut me open, I probably bleed ones and zeros for being in technology for so long. But technology is a lifeline. We should never lose sight of that. It is a realization that shapes how I lead. And that is why I believe the foundation in everything we do is to build that trust, but do it through public and private partnerships. So there's a quote that I continue to go to. Technology becomes transformational, not when it is powerful, but when people know it works for them. Not when it's powerful, but when it works for them. That belief, that trust, that's our real platform. 5 years ago, again, I got an opportunity at the height of a new career. Governor Gavin Newsom appointed me the state chief technology officer. And then he appointed me the chief information officer for the state. So let's talk about when that was all happening. We were just coming out of a pandemic. I know some of you want to forget. But a lot of our strategies and paths that we were on had to be adjusted, right? We knew what our priorities were, but we had to adjust. We had to focus on public health. We had to focus on saving lives, digital vaccination records, shots in arms. We needed to focus on a new normal for our workforce. So at the same time of becoming the new state CIO, unfortunately, I walked into difficult headlines. The auditors, for some reason, didn't care that we had just gone out of a pandemic. So, headline 1, walk it in. California IT department comes up short on strategic vision. New state auditor report pinpoints California's high-tech failures. Auditor blasts state technology department again. The message was clear. California has the talent and ambition, but coming out of a pandemic, we needed a unified strategy. A strategy that had a true north and a future for all of us. So guess what? We built one. And we built one not alone or in a silo, we built it with all of you. We had over 1,700 touch points. That meant we met with department heads, secretaries, undersecretaries, directors, chief deputies, agency CIOs, department CIOs. We met with tribal leaders. We met with residents on digital equity. We met with local leaders. We met with you in the industry. And they told us exactly what they wanted out of government. They want government to be multilingual. They want it to be mobile. They want it to be easy. They want it to be consistent. And they want it to feel like one California. They told us what it could be. But together, through our listening, we established Envision 2026, not only as a strategy, but we established a governance structure and aligned every agency through their CIOs to take off their hats of their individual departments and come together and work on behalf of California. We developed annual roadmaps, detailed with measurable outcomes. So let's fast forward to today's headlines. California earns its first ever A grade in the Digital State Survey. California was named the 2025 overall winner for the state government experience for its work on the governors.ca.gov website for making government services more accessible and easier to use. So round of applause for all the hard work that the governor did on that. And the CDT Gen AI Sandbox was recognized in the inaugural AI 50 for its responsible use of AI for public service. So when strategy meets humanity, trust prevails, and outcomes are delivered. And when we think of digital equity, what also comes to mind is the partnerships that we have had with the tribes. For generations, tribal communities have been working to overcome barriers of opportunity and equity. Past generations have been pulled from their ancestral lands. They were put into schools and labor camps across this country and regrettably, even in California. Today, those impacts still persist. And you can see that in one of the initiatives that we were focusing on is digital equity. But I'm pleased to report that we are at a tipping point. Tribal communities up and down the state are seeing affordable and internet access because of the hard work that we're putting together. Inequity and trust is structural. So California is giving a structural solution. And under the governor's Broadband for All initiative, you know we're building the largest open access middle mile network. But what that is doing is that is magnifying the ability to meet communities across every county in California. And we're doing this through partnerships. Through our joint build partnerships, we're going to be able to build 3 times approximately what we would have been able to do alone if we built the network. Industry partners out in the room, please raise your hand. I want to thank you because during a crisis, or when I have to call in the middle of the night and saying something's not going right, you stand up. You help build at the speed of trust. It doesn't matter if it's a wildfire, a pandemic, a cybersecurity outage. You take my call, first of all, so thank you. You deliver for the in-need communities. You give devices for free. Sometimes you're meeting residents where they are. When they need a device, they need a hotspot, helping us get a public health website working if we're in the middle of the night trying to get a digital vaccination record up. Together, we are building at the speed of trust. And if broadband is a foundation, I would say digital identity is the key, which is going to make that consistent and reduce barriers. So picture it. A resident is trying to access government services. They just lost their home in a fire. Or they're applying for nutrition assistance because they just lost their job. Or they need disability benefits because they just had their first child. Or maybe they need those health benefits because they're sick. But they may, during a crisis, not have a driver's license that survived an evacuation. Their documents may not have survived a fire. So they can't prove their identity or their residence. Their ability to travel in person may be limited because of accessibility. They may have to take time off work to navigate multiple departments to get services. Today's verification systems are pushed into the past, not based on intent or people trying to do the wrong thing. It really is a legacy ID verification system. So what we are doing is building something new. We are choosing a different path. So through the Digital Identity Gateway, residents are now in the driver's seat. The resident decides what information is shared with whom, for what purpose. They don't have pages of information being shared across multiple departments and systems. There's no in-person verification required, and there's no redundant checks necessary in order to get that benefit. We want it to be single, simple, and all controlled by the resident, because someone's identity is personal. It's not bureaucratic. The Gateway now powers Tap to Ride in transit districts in Sacramento, Monterey, Ventura, Santa Barbara, and Nevada counties. So what does that look like? That means that a person that might be a veteran or senior or low income or a resident that just needs to ride public transportation, the discount is applied at transaction. They don't have to fill out the form. They don't have to have a physical card. When they tap to pay with their credit card or some type of payment system, the discount is automatically applied because we have already securely verified who they are. So trust is built in every transaction. And the industry's role, a lot of different departments have a lot of different proofing technologies. But we need you to help us scale, allow us to be able to be privacy enhancing, make sure that we're doing security issuance and thinking of security always, and making sure things are interoperable. We want an identity ecosystem that's proactive, portable, and again, puts the residents in the driver's seat because all of you are residents too. More departments looking for those opportunities and services that they can connect to the gateway, because no survivor, no senior, no veteran should wait to get services when they already qualify for it. We need to be delivering trust at the level people are living their lives, because trust is not what we build, it is how we build it. So you heard Secretary Maduris talk about PAL. So PAL has been around for a long time. And it is very rigorous, and it was based on the project management lifecycle, if anybody's followed it. But it's very waterfall driven, right? So slow progress, delays, and a lot of frustration. So thanks to Secretary Tong and the governor's Generative AI executive order, the GovOps family, who happen to some of you all be in there and here, ODI, DGS, Department of Finance, prior Department of Finance, and also agency CIOs, we have developed project delivery lifecycle. And you're going to hear more about it later. We're still getting projects through it. But it's supposed to be fast, adaptive, and proof of concept driven. So let's talk about what that means. That means industry is co-creating solutions simultaneously as we're going to select a solution that meets the department's needs. It means we're testing and iterating. It also means that it's giving departments production level minimum viable products early. You're not waiting for a release 1 or release 2. You get them a minimum viable product, you let them scale at the speed of the business. This is how we deliver for residents and not for process. We need to modernize at a pace that innovation drives. Together, we need to make sure that trust doesn't mean that we are looking at status quo to handcuff us to the past. We have to see status quo as a learning opportunity to create new innovative paths and make government more efficient and effective for everyone. This is what government technology should look like. We need to expand opportunities, deliver new services, and meet people where they are. This is the charge of Envision 2026. So my call to action is threefold to all of you today. Let us build systems that earn trust before a resident ever asks. Let us unite public and private innovation to move California at the speed of trust, not bureaucracy. And let us choose a future we architect and deliver, not what we inherit. So in closing, because if we act boldly and collaboratively, then what is will be what is delivered. Trust is not something we chase. It is the foundation and building block that we all come from. Thank you.